Hey, I am Rachel, the Destined One. So listen, tonight I want to talk to you guys a little bit for a second about launching out into the deep. So tonight I was listening to a sermon, and the pastor said something in his sermon about launching out into the deep. And it hit me so mightily that I was like, ooh, I know that this is for me. A lot of us are being called to launch out into the deep, to go deeper, to show up more, to do the things that have been put into our spirit to do. And a lot of us get in a place of, I don't want to do it. I'm scared. That's going to be too hard, or that's going to be too big for me to do. And so I always use the conference that is being put together right now for March the 20th and here in Nashville, Tennessee. God has called me to do this, right? And this is all part of me launching out into the deep, right? And when you're called to launch out into the deep, or go deeper in the water, go deeper in the ocean, just like the word I gave you guys about casting your net on the other side of the boat and going a little deeper in the water so you can get what's out there in that water when you go deeper and when you're obedient to what God has called you to do. And so at this hour, we're being called to launch out into the deep, to go deeper. You are a big fish in a small pond. You are being called to the ocean. And for me, this conference, it's being called to the ocean. It's for me, it's being called to the ocean. Rachel, I want you to do a conference, right? God says. And I'm like, I don't know nothing about that. I don't know how to do that. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have the resources. But when you're being launched into the deep, you just got to be obedient. You just got to be obedient. The pastor was talking about Peter on the boat and how his net was all mangled and broken and they didn't catch anything, and they were in the water all night long. And so God was speaking to Peter and the others that were with him and told him to go a little deeper, go launch out into the deep. And so that's where we're being called right now. We're being called to launch out deeper. And we're being called to trust God and what God is calling us to do, because we don't know what we're doing. And as we don't know what we're doing, we have to trust God to lead and to guide us throughout whatever it is that we're doing. It is going to be some of the greatest things happening in your life when you do launch out into the deep, when you do trust God, when you do go deeper. Go deeper and believe in what God gave you and believe in what God told you. Because as I'm preparing for this conference, this is not easy. This is not easy. I get in a place of doubt. I get in a place of fear. I get in a place of, God, did I hear you right? Who's going to show up? God, how is this going to happen? But that's when we got to stop that. We have to stop that. I have to stop that and truly believe in what God said to me, and know that if God gave it to me, and know that if God gave it to you, that it's going to come together just the way God has called for it to come together. You're being called to launch out into the deep for a reason. You are here. I'm always going to tell you to do some great and mighty things, and also too, the pastor was talking about you with your business. You with your businesses. A lot of us are being called to entrepreneurship, to trust God, to do stuff that we've never done. And I just wanted to encourage you tonight to keep showing up. If you are entering into a place of entrepreneurship, enter into a place of taking the things that you have in your hand, taking your gifts, taking your talents that God has given you, to do your business, to do your service, to do your product. Trust the process. Trust the process. Just even for me tonight, I was sitting at my computer and I was like, God, I hear you, because God kept on putting the same stuff in my face, and God kept bringing it up because I was scrolling, and I'm not supposed to just be sitting here scrolling. I'm here to create. I'm here to open people's eyes. I'm here to help people go where they're called and chosen to go. And so if I'm not doing my job, how can other people find where they're supposed to go if I'm supposed to be that one that's supposed to lead them there? So this all goes together. This all goes together. Launch out to the deep. If you're in entrepreneurship, keep going. Keep trusting God. Keep showing up, because there's something mighty happening when you have faith, when you're walking by faith and not by sight. And I promise you, every day I walk by faith and not by sight. And I promise you, I have been launching out into the deep because I trust. I trust where God is taking me. And sometimes I'm afraid. And sometimes I want to shrink back and not do what I have been called and chosen to do. But I'm going to tell you, if you are called and chosen to do something, God has called you. God has chosen you, right? You're going to have to stand up. You're going to have to do it. You're going to have to trust. This is not easy for you to be called to be the one to do the things that you're about to do, for you to be called to be the one that is called to launch out into the deep. It's not easy. It's not easy. And so, especially you guys, I'm going to keep talking to you entrepreneurs. Keep going. If you know that God has given it to you, sometimes it may take years, but when God's hand is in it, and when God said it is going to be you, you will prosper. You are going to prosper. It's not going to look how you thought it would look. Sometimes it's going to look better than what you thought it would look. It's going to look better. It's going to be greater than what you could ask, think, or imagine. But in this time of going through the process, going through the journey, you got to trust. 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 And so, with that being said, I want to invite you guys to our conference here. And all these things go together, because this is me launching out into the deep. This is me launching out into the deep. I have to stand up and walk into where I've been called and chosen to go. I have to stand up and remember who I am spiritually, where the blinders have been taken off of my eyes, and I have to stand up in that power and that authority. But I want to invite you guys to our conference here, March the 20th at 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's called What's in Your Hands. What's in your hands? And that's all a part of this entrepreneurship. Or I think it's what do you have in your hands? What do you have in your hands? And so if you're an entrepreneur, if you're trying to start a business, if you're frustrated, if you know God has called and chosen for you to start a business, if you know God has called and chosen for you to start some things, if you have gotten over addiction, just anything, we want you there. We want you there. What do you have in your hands? What has God given you? What innately comes to you? What service, what product? You're entrepreneurs. We are calling you. We want to see you there, because this is to encourage. This is to inspire. This is to uplift. We're going to have mindfulness. We're going to have deep breathing. We're going to have financial literacy. We're going to have someone speaking about getting through addiction. And I will be the final speaker speaking about what do you have in your hands? What has God given you? Will you trust in what God has given you? And will you trust God to multiply the work of your hand? So it's here, March the 20th, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., 5122 Charlotte Avenue, Nashville, Tennessee, 37209. What do you have in your hands? Will you launch out into the deep? Will you go deeper? Will you trust in who and what God has called you to be? Okay? And so we really want to see you. And go on Eventbrite and register. It's free. It's absolutely, positively free. We just want to fill the room. We want to encourage. We want to inspire. We want to uplift. And we want you to leave there feeling like, I know God was here. I know God sent me here. And if you have your cards, your business cards, bring your business cards so that maybe you're able to meet some people. Maybe you're able to network. And this is all a part of that. What do you have in your hands? Some of you guys got some beautiful businesses and you're trying to get them off the ground. Trust. Trust, 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 trust. And you trusting is launching out into the deep. And you keep showing up is you launching out into the deep. And I'm always going to tell you that the message is always for the messenger first. And I know this video is long, but these are things that you absolutely, positively need to hear, because a lot of you are being called into entrepreneurship. A lot of you are being called to start some stuff. A lot of you are being called to be seen at a great level, and you have to launch out into the deep and trust in what God gave you and who God has called and chosen for you to be. Okay, so be encouraged today. Be encouraged. Y'all come out, come out, come out. Go sign up on Eventbrite. What do you have in your hands? The people who are hosting it is me, Rachel Easley, Ian Frierson. Go sign up. 5122 Charlotte Avenue, Nashville, Tennessee, 37209. March the 20th, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. What do you have in your hands? Launch out into the deep. Launch out into the deep. Launch out into the deep. I am Rachel, the destined one. Okay, you guys, go register at Eventbrite. We want to see all of you there. We want to have a good time. We want to meet you. We want to see your faces. We want to just feel your energy. Come on out. Okay, and launch out into the deep. Don't forget that. Do not forget that. Do not be afraid at who you truly are, and remembering who you are. Remembering what you have. Remember you're divinely coded to do the things that God has called and chosen for you to do. Okay, I am Rachel, the destined one.